Hey guys, hope you're been well. It's been a minute. I wanted to sit down today and give you guys a quick update about what's been going on. As you probably saw in my previous video, I've been thinking about my job a lot and money and everything like that, and sort of wrestling with the ethics, I suppose you could say, of the work that I do. Ultimately, over the past few months with exploring God, struggling with my mental health, not sleeping enough and affecting my physical health and the stress of work, I had to make a pretty hard decision. But I actually, in the past week or so, stepped down from my job to do work that I felt was more in line with my personality and everything like that. So obviously the role itself that I had was extremely well paying and more money than I had ever made in my whole life. I worked really hard for that position too. You know, I started at the business and I put my head down and I worked overtime and I just became all consumed with work, which in turn had an impact on my physical and my mental health, my relationships, just a whole lot of things, as I've been talking about in all my previous videos. It was a good title, a good role. Initially, I was able to help a lot of people, and the whole reason why I got into the business in the first place was to help other businesses and things of that nature. Everything on the surface was awesome and it was a success story, I suppose you could say, especially from where I've come from. But under the surface, I felt like something was building up. I pushed it to the side and just tried to ignore it. That feeling that I had and that anxiety, the pressure that was building, you know, what I came to find is that I couldn't ignore it for any longer. Over the past few months, there's been like a lot of pressure building up with the role itself. Obviously, if you're in New Zealand or Australia or even anywhere across the world, really, the economy hasn't been doing that great, but especially here in New Zealand, where a lot of the businesses in New Zealand are small businesses or SMEs, like small medium enterprises. They have been really struggling, going into liquidation left, right, and center. I knew what I signed up for initially, but as time went on, the conversations became less about how can I help this person and how can I do X, Y, and Z for this person, to hey look, my business is struggling, I'm in a lot of debt, so on and so forth. And then the expectation as per my role was to hold people to their contractual obligations. Not to say that it's right or wrong, but for me that was really challenging, because I would meet with these people face to face only for them to tell me of all the hard things that they were going through, the hardships, and maybe they were going through medical emergencies or whatever the case might be. While I was good at having those conversations and I understand that this is business, it really made me think to myself, am I still helping people or am I making things worse for them? And that question kept coming in over and over again. The anxiety just kept rising up and just having these really conflicting feelings about what I was actually doing every day and how I was earning my money. Obviously, me asking that question over and over again, it ended up meaning that I was having sleepless nights. There was a lot of stress. I'm not looking after myself. I'm not making videos, like emotionally flat. I'm dealing with all these people's problems every day, and I come home and I have nothing left for myself or my partner or my friends or my hobbies, or I wasn't happy. I was making a lot of money and, you know, I could buy cool things, you know, keep buying all these cards and like spending a bunch of money on stuff that I love, you know, that's great, you know, it's awesome. But ultimately, there was something deep down that I was wrestling with, and it just wouldn't go away. Following that, I got really sick, ended up having 3 weeks off, as I talked about in a previous video. And when I came back to work, the amount of stress that just like hit me all at once, it just destroyed me. I was having panic attacks. And not long after that, due to my absence, due to my performance, with the things that I was wrestling with, letting people out of their contracts, doing things that maybe by a business perspective I shouldn't have been doing, I just wasn't hitting the mark anymore, hitting my targets and all of that stuff. It wasn't because I didn't care, I just felt drained and I was conflicted about what I was actually doing. And they put me on a performance plan and things like that. After being put on a performance plan, that even stressed me out even more, because it's like, okay, well, now maybe my job's at risk. Everything is falling apart. You know, I'm making a lot of money, I'm feeling conflicted with the people I'm speaking with, and I'm doing things that I don't necessarily agree with, not looking after myself physically, I'm not sleeping, and I'm drained, I'm not there for my partner. But it made me think, you know, what actually matters? What am I actually doing? And that's when I started exploring God and reading the Bible, and sort of just started to come full circle. I realized that I had to make a choice. I either put my challenges aside and just do what I'm paid to do, I'm rewarded with the money and achieve my financial goals that I set myself at the beginning of the year, or I can stick with my moral compass and I have to make a choice and step down from my role. I realized that the right thing to do was to step down from the role, do something else that I could sleep well at night with and put my skills to good use. Thankfully, the decision was a very good one. I changed role this week and I just said to them, I think I was the perfect person at the time. You needed someone like me that cared a lot about these people. Now that things are tough, you need someone more cutthroat, and I can't be that guy. You know what I mean? I can't just ignore these people going through these difficult situations. I need to do something that's more in line with my personality, my values, right? So without saying too much, I stepped down to another role that is well below what I am getting in my previous role, but I'm able to take accountability in another way and focus on helping people and getting through my day without feeling terrible about myself, you know what I mean? So I guess the reason why I'm sharing this is because I think it's so important to not focus on just the money and just focus on what am I getting out of it? Because ultimately, if you don't believe in what you're doing, you're never gonna do well. I know that a lot of the people I work with watch these videos, and I know my friends watch these videos and have noticed that I haven't been myself. So yeah, I just wanna say that I'm a lot happier now. I feel like everything that I've been wishing for and everything that I'm doing and praying and reading the Bible and soul searching and trying to look at what my next move is, everything is just sort of working itself out, and I'm not really in control of this, if that makes any sense. So I feel really happy, and I'm very fortunate to even still be working in the place that I'm working now. Like I said in my other video, you know, money isn't everything. If you're genuinely unhappy about where you're at, there's always a choice. You don't have to stay in the role that you are in, or you don't have to stay at the place of work that you're at, or you don't have to keep doing this mundane thing that's destroying you, you know, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever. There's always a choice. If you've been watching the channel, you know that I've been through all ups and downs this year. I didn't want to make this channel just for you guys to watch and feel like, oh man, this guy's got it all figured out and it's all these positives stacked on positives. No, there's been a lot of negatives this year, and all it takes is for you to like go back and watch my videos and you'll see there's been lots of ups and downs this year, because that's how life is, and that's the whole reason I made this channel. So if you're really struggling out there, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to make a change. Don't worry about the voices in your head saying that you can't do it, because if you put your mind to something and you know, strongly just move towards an outcome, it'll work out. Have some trust in yourself and have some trust in the people that are around you. So apologies for not getting a video out last week. It was a bit of stress, as I'm sure you can imagine, with moving all those things around. But I've got some cool ideas for a video coming up. I'm sort of just trying to do a bit of research on the thing that I'm preparing to make a video about. I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously. Be on the lookout for that, and I'll also be interviewing some other people coming up for another video. For now, that is all from me. I very much appreciate you guys commenting and sharing the love and checking on me and everything like that. Make sure you spread that love to other people as well. If you can see someone going through a tough time and you notice that they're not doing so well, you know, do something for them. Check on them, ask them if they're okay, if they need some help, all that good stuff. Take it easy, look after yourself, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.